As you can see, after I finished wrapping the house in cloth and cement, I wrapped it up in plastic and I let it sit for a day. And after the and the plastic is to keep the moisture in. After a day, I took off the plastic. I gave it a thorough soaking with the hose, and then I wrapped it up again and let it sit for a couple more days. And now we're at this point. As you can see, I used some push pins, and I actually recommend you use thumbtacks instead, and then you don't have to pull them out. And you could just cement over them. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put another layer of cement over. But I decided instead of just putting a layer of cement, I'm going to make it a lot more whimsical and a lot more decorative. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Oh, and the push pins on thumbtacks are used to hold up the cloth. If it's starting to fall down, you can just put a couple thumbtacks into it just to hold it up into place, because the cloth will try to sag on you. So I've made some little mirrors, and these are going to be little windows. I've cut some pieces of tile that are going to go around the window to frame the window. So I have here a tile cutter. So I've taken the tile, I've cut it into long strips, and I've cut it down into the lengths that I need to go around the window. As you can see, this one here, this is what it's going to look like. And I'm also going to take some glass beads. Where's that camera? And I've got some beach stone, and this is I've got it into two different sizes, and these are nice flat, nice polished stones off the beach. And I'm also going to do some roof shingles out of cedar, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute here. As you can see, I'm ready to start applying another coat of cement to my house. I have my rocks laid out. The windows I'm going to be using back here, and the rocks I have here I'm going to be using on the house. So I'm going to mix up a 2-to-1 mix of cement and sand. This right now is way too runny, so I'm going to add some more cement and sand. I'm trying to get a nice paste consistency. That's a lot better. Mix up a lot more. This is not working like that I had planned. Plan B. So just coat the house in cement. Big. As you can see, I went ahead and finished the little house that I was working on because a lot of it was experimental. But now that I've finished it, I'm going to walk you through the rest of the procedure. So you can also build yourself one of these nice little houses. So this is where I'm at with my next little house. As you can see, I have a plastic bag over it. The reason for the plastic bag is to keep the moisture in so the cement will cure. And as you can see, I'm up to just a layer of cement-laden cloth on the cardboard box. And what we're going to do now is add another layer of cement and sand to strengthen the structure and to smooth out the surface so we can apply the rocks. I have my 2-to-1 mix, and as you can see, it's fairly thick, and that is on purpose. It's not an exacting science. If your cement is looking a little too thin, you can always add a little bit more, sand to it. And I've only mixed up, I just used this little trowel here and I only mixed up that much right now. And if I need more, I will add more later. I will make up another batch. Okay, I'm down to my my last side. I turned off the camera for a bit because I don't think you need to watch me putting on the cement. Another good thing to do is to moisten, if it's getting a little too dry, um, just moisten it down. Just don't add too much water while you're doing this because then your cement will start sagging. Oh, there we go. I'm pretty happy with that. All I'm going to do is just give it a a little spray of moisture. And I'm going to wrap it up in a bag and again let it cure. From this point, the house has had a couple days of curing, and in that time, I've come and I've squirted it down a couple times with moisture just to keep it moist so it could cure. And you could just leave it like this and call it a day, and put this out in the garden, and eventually moss will grow on it. And or you can take a mixture of what I've heard is you could take a mixture of milk and moss, grind up the moss, mix it with the milk, and dab it onto the house, and it should adhere to the house and start growing on the house. But I'm going to take it a step further. As you can see that I've marked out some parts. These are going to be for the door. I've marked out the window parts, and I've numbered them or lettered them so I don't get them mixed up, and I've set them out. I have some rocks. I have some different colored beads. I'm going to give it a little bit of bling. And so the next step is I'm going to mix up some thin set mortar and just follow the instructions on the bag. And thin set mortar is made for doing tiling, so this would be very appropriate for what we're doing here. And the other house that I did build, I tried to just put on a thin layer of cement and tried to stick the rocks to that. It worked somewhat, but the more the cement would start to dry up too fast and the rocks wouldn't stick anymore. And with the thin set mortar, you have a lot more time to work on it, a lot more time to be, but I'll take you into the next step as we go. Okay, I've laid out where I want things to go. I've made up my mortar. You have to let this sit for a little while, and then you can give it another stir. It's called slaking. I'm only going to do one side at a time, because I don't know how well the rocks are going to sit if I do it on the side. That's why I've laid it out like this. This chimney, I'm going to try to do it on the side also. Yeah, once you figured out where you want your windows and doors, then you can go ahead and start laying out your rocks. And with this mortar, you have a lot more time to lay out the different rocks than you would with cement.
And that. Try a couple small ones on here.
So I've made up another batch of thin set mortar, and when I did the front, I tried to apply two sides, and it didn't work too well. The rock started falling off. I had to put them back on. So I'm glad I didn't do one whole side. And another thing is this mortar, as it sets up, if you get any on the rocks, it's still soft for the first couple days, and it hardens up over as time goes on. It keeps on hardening up. So now I'm ready to do this side. this is where I am right now. As you can see, I've finished 3 sides of my little house. I have one more side to finish. I finished 2 sides with thin set mortar, and I finished 1 side with a cement-based product. The difference is that a mortar-based product is a softer product. It's got more lime in it, and the cement product is more cement-based. And this is what I used. It's a topping compound, a topping mix. And this is what it looks like. I've got it into a thick base, and so I'm just going to finish this one side, and then we'll work on putting the shingles on the roof. This is where I'm at now. I need to make the shingles for the roof. So just grab yourself a piece of 2x4, cut a couple 45s off the ends, and we'll do that right now. I set myself up a stop block so I can get them all the same length. And now what we're going to do is split them into shakes. Once you got to cut into this, get yourself a knife. Cut them off about 1/8 of an inch wide. And try to get a nice straight grain. And then we go on to the next step. To stick the shingles on, I'm using this No More nail, but you can use whatever adhesive you have, you know, that will last outside. For the first row, you want to have them all facing down like this. Yeah. As you can see at the end, I'm going to need half a shingle. So always save your little chunks. They come in handy. Then the next row is going to go right over top of the last row, like this. Actually, I'm going to use this one. Actually, that's backwards of what I really want. I want to do it this way. And just keep on going until you got the roof finished. And once you get up around the chimney area, you got to get a little creative with your trimming of the tiles to make them trimming of the shingles. I mean, to make them fit. So I have a knife and I just cut them to fit. There we go. Also for the top, I just got myself a piece of this mahogany and I cut the end at a 45 and just give it a little more character and to make her a little more waterproof. There we go. And she's all finished. One last thing I did with this little house is give it a little weather protection. I used boiled linseed oil on it to protect it from the weather and just give it a nice gloss finish. And one other thing I'd like to say is hats off to those guys that put out these videos every week, because this took me quite a while to put this video up. Okay, thank you. Bye.